And you run into problems like that with like bad puns and stuff. So you have to take liberties at times. What you want to try to do is to give the same type of responses the Japanese do when they watch things. Granted, sometimes I look at people and I go like, really, your casting of that character could have been a little better, or you should have really been having them pronounce the names properly. You remember I showed you a little while ago, Hoyo and Dago's Boys Over Flowers. Well, they didn't get the actress to keep in line with saying the character's name properly, and that is not the actor's fault, that was more the director's fault. They have a character called Rui Hawasawa. They kept calling him Rui, but it's Louis Hawasawa. So you end up with these type of problems, little discretions, as I call it. But it doesn't take away from the story itself. You just have to bear with it sometimes that there's going to be mistakes made in casting. But these actors and people who are in possession are doing what the director tells them, so if you have really any gripes, you should go find the director and talk to them about it and say, well, why didn't you do it this way? Recently I was looking at Maid-Sama subtitle, and they go like, also, and the subtitle goes up and says, oh really? Well, all I've ever heard about also was, is that so? It doesn't mean, oh really was the wrong interpretation in that subtitle form, but maybe there was something that was more important said a little bit later on in the sentence that they need to shorten that and just say, says, is that so? Just go and say, oh really? Am I making any sense? I just want to make sure I'm making sense now. But you run into that type of problems at times where, you know, for myself, I try to study as much as I can. I will watch subtitle stuff, and also to listen to the dub. There are pluses and minuses in both situations. Some people have told me at times when you watch a subtitle, it takes away from the artwork. That is a valid point. But if you're trying to get to the story, I would suggest whatever your choice is. If you have a reading disability, yes, go for the dub. A lot of people here probably when they started watching anime, would probably remember the dub more than they would the subtitle. Because when you're kids, you're watching something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, you're watching basically the dub. So dubs do have their important values. It's only until you get up a little bit, let's say up in the stages, that you try to find out more about Japan and stuff, that you try to go and research things, and you learn a bit more about the country and stuff, and you go and you find little discrepancies in plots, and you go like, well, why didn't they interpret it that way? It would have made more sense, or maybe they should have not tempered with that. It's a very iffy thing. Very difficult, but like I said, it's not easy what they're doing. I salute everybody who has tried in the past to try to bring something over here, because imagine what it would have been like had Carl Mason not brought Robotech over here. How long it would have taken us just to get where we are today without his help. Mason, I felt like, was chastised for the wrong reasons. He should have not been chastised for bringing Robotech and cutting it up. In some cases, I had actually watched the original Japanese stuff, and Mason got it pretty good close on Macross, and I can understand his changes in Southern Cross because I watched the original Southern Cross, and believe me, he wrote a better story than the Japanese did. And that does happen at times, where the American story is actually better than the Japanese story. So, the slice of life type of deal. Does anybody else have any questions they would like to ask me? I'm going to make sure what time it is. I don't want to overshoot myself, too. Oh, great. Come on. Okay. I still got till 5 o'clock, and so, like I said, I'm open to questions. Yes, ma'am?
There's one anime that I watched in Spanish, but I can't find it in English at all. I only found it in Japanese.
Oh, what's the name of the series?
Candy Candy. I never find it in English. My mom watched it years ago. And there's another one that is in Spanish, but I can't remember the name. I can never find it in English or Japanese. I remember what the story is about, but I can never find the other.
Candy? I had gone to BobCon and pulled up some pretty wild stuff in my time. You might try it there to see if it is out there. What year was it made?
I know my mom used to watch it, and she's from the 60s.
Okay, so we're talking about the 1960s. Okay,
I would say before then. Because it was translated into Spanish.
Okay. That's the best thing. Have you done this? Have you took and said candy animate and did a Google search?
I looked it up on YouTube and I found it in Spanish. With the subtitles in Spanish, but the language was in English.
Okay.
But then I also found it with the language in Spanish.
Okay. Well, I found YouTube to be very useful at times for a lot of things.
Yeah, but also I've heard it mentioned in other books, in manga. I've heard mention of them. Just can't remember.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Like I said, I'm free to try to answer whatever you feel like to tackle as far as subject matter. But like I said, for me it's the story. I've always been a fan of a good story. And of course I've seen more anime than just that. I've been watching anime since the 1970s. And the first one I actually started out was the one that got Hayao Miyazaki started as an animator. There's two movies that Hayao Miyazaki credits for wanting to become an animator. One is The Snow Queen. The other is called Charm and the Magic Serpent, or The Legend of the White Snake. It was put out by Toei Studios back in 1958, was finally brought over here in the United States, and was one of the first animated movies in color in the United States in 1961, 50 years ago. And so those two things. Now the first animated TV series that came over here was, of course, Astro Boy by Japanese names are so hard to pronounce. And he had a very nice vision, and we actually have it posted up in our anime group. He believed that one day, and we're talking about the man who created Astro Boy, Ken with the White Lion, that the world would accept animation as a true art form. That was Tezuka's dream. And we have that saying up on our, we acknowledge that for Tezuka. While I'm here, I need to talk about this as well, since it's on my soul a little bit. This year is 2014. There is a very important thing that's happening this year. This year marks the 200th anniversary of Hakusai's manga books. Hakusai was the creator of the word manga, and his manga books are celebrating its 200th anniversary this year. If you people are claiming to be fans of anime and you love manga, take the time out and tell people about this important event, because we need to honor the people who have left us. People like Hakusai, who did The Great Wave, who did over, I think it was 500 color block drawings. That this year is the 200th anniversary of manga. We really do need to do this. It's very important. We shouldn't let our ignore these facts that are so prevalent today. If the information is correct and it still holds true, we have another celebration coming up in 2017. And this will be that the Japanese have been animating since 100 years. And I can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they have been animating since 1917. There's a YouTube thing, I can even pull it off from my laptop, shows animation done from that time period. If those dates hold true, now there is an argument that's going on right now. There was a piece of film where Sailor Boy doing salute, and they say 1913. There's no way of proving that. The earliest they could have done it was 1916. But I'm going to stay with the fact that it was 1917. So, we have till 2017 to figure out how we're going to celebrate 100 years of Japanese animation. Something for you to think about. Something that definitely needs to be celebrated. The same thing for Hakusai's manga this year. My anime group it's got a display we're going to be doing in September at the Rowan Public Library, and we're going to give a rough timeline of manga best we can. Please, I beg you, don't let this be the only thing. Sorry, it's emotional. Because we have a responsibility to make sure this doesn't go undone. Does anybody have the time? I just don't want to get, we got somebody else supposed to be doing a panel in here. Oh good, we got 15 more minutes. But like I said, please don't let it go by. You only get one shot at the wheel. Make the most of it. Does anybody else have any questions they would like to ask? Do any of you know about independent Japanese films? Animated films? What? Okay. For those who don't understand, over in Japan, they have Japanese independent shorts. These people are trying to study to become animators, the next Hayao Miyazaki, the next Rumiko Takahashi. So what they do, they put little short films together. Now some of these shorts are about 3 minutes long, sometimes 5, but they're short little features. And I don't know if this thing will do it. Give me just a moment here. Get me back online here. FIRESTORMO1. Another reason why I like watching Japanese animation is because there's so much you young people are doing this out here today. It's just extraordinary. This thing will log in. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Believe me, I haven't had this for very long, and I'm still learning how to use it properly. Okay, 1. And we'll close this out. And we'll go close. Oh, come on. Don't be such a pain in the neck.
Windows 8 is a pain.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to go to not anime shows, anime clips. That's where I want to go. And see if I can. I'm going to try to see if I can. I don't know if this thing will play it like it's supposed to, but I'm going to hope it does. I'm going to watch you show you a short real quick. Come on, load up. And this is an independent animated feature done over in Japan. It's not very long.